What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down episode I can't speak today, 96.3. And we are continuing our playthrough of God of War. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
Yeah, so we didn't record last week. Unfortunately, I had to work 12 hours unexpectedly. Yeah, we had to hold off a week. So my mind's going to be a little fuzzy about what exactly happened. I remember some things. The last thing we were leaving off on was we were having to get this magic chisel. And we were at the base of the giant that created this chisel. And he was dead. His body has been laying there forever, apparently. And, climbing, this was pretty crazy. Climbing this tower giant chisel thing to get, I mean, it was a spectacle to see, to say the least.
Yeah, and it seems to be at this point, I don't want to say a bit of a pattern because it's predictable, but it is something that this game seems to like to do, which is to have you weave kind of in and out of things. Like when you're in the caves, you'd be in the caves for a while, then you'd come out and you saw the forest around your home and you got to see that magical aura. And in this case, you're in and out of this tower, mountain, giant thing, and you kind of like you pop back out, get a little context for where you are. Okay, the head's closer, the chisel's closer. Now let's go back in and do some more stuff. And just as a way, it's almost like a check-in, a reminder on what we're trying to do.
Yeah, they definitely do that a lot. And so the chisel is encased in this ice, and we're going to have to break that ice by pulling the tower down onto the ice.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we actually run into a couple of gods as we're getting close to the chisel itself. What are these gods' names? They both start with M, and they're both brothers. Magni and Modi are their names.
Magni and Modi.
Yep. Magni and Modi. They see us and want to fight us. So we have a boss fight with some gods finally. It's been a while since we've actually fought a god. We have to take them on both at the same time. I didn't find this fight difficult, but I found it tedious. So twice during this fight, we do the whole back-to-back Kratos with Atreus behind him, and the black fog covers us so we can't see them, but we have to block a certain way. And I just found that a little tedious at times. I'm like, oh, we're doing this again? I thought it was just like a one-time thing. But this definitely wasn't a difficult fight for me. I was able to take out one of them relatively easy. The guy with the shield, which I'm guessing is Modi.
Is that the one you focused on? Because I definitely fought the other guy first.
I fought the other guy first. So I beat down Magni really easily. And then Modi was left. And I didn't want to deal with him because I had to worry about his stupid shield. And so I figured
there's lightning mace.
Yep. So I was able to beat that fight with relative ease.
It's a decent spectacle. I didn't think it was that hard either, but it could change of pace, even if it maybe went on just a little too long.
Absolutely. So, and in this fight, at the end of it, Kratos straight up murders Magni, and he's dead. Modi gets really upset, but runs away, and after that fight, that's when both Atreus and the disembodied head. I can't remember what his name is now. Mimir, yeah, Mimir. They're both like, "Hey, you just killed a god. How can you do that?" Also,
Shocker.
yeah. Also, you just pissed off everybody that knows Odin. Atreus also, after this fight, begins having some coughing fits. Looks like his sickness hasn't left yet. So we decide to continue onward. Doing so, we get the chisel, the magic chisel, which then allows us to open up these like, I call them mirror doors. It looks like they have a mirror on them, but you stab the chisel in certain areas and it opens that door. These doors basically create shortcuts to get around. On top of that, there are certain doors that require the chisel that lead to vaults, that lead to fights that are very difficult. Fights with what they call Valkyries. And I ran into a Valkyrie fight, and holy crap. That is not fun. Fighting Valkyries is not fun in this game.
Did you beat it?
I did beat the first one I ran into, yeah.
Oh, nice. I fought it twice and then just gave up and said, I'll do this when I'm
higher
stronger.
leveled. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did beat the one Valkyrie.
Nice.
And it was basically like the first Valkyrie, because you could tell it was going to be one of those that, I wouldn't say a tutorial, but it was like, okay, this is what a Valkyrie fight's like, and they're probably going to get harder from here.
Yep.
But it probably took me about 10 tries. Yeah, they're rough. But they drop some really good items. They drop crafting items for like Valkyrie armor or Valkyrie style armor, which I believe is legendary. It's orange in the color scale.
Okay. Is that better or worse than purple?
That's better than purple. But I can't make any of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have the access to see that you could one day make it, but you can't actually make it yet.
Yeah,
right?
I don't have enough crafting materials to make that armor.
Which is just one of the strange things here. Like, there's so many things that they could tease you with, but it's not like you can just go farm something and then eventually make it. Well, if I put 20 hours into killing this guy over and over again, I'll be able to make that. Because, right, like with the Leviathan axe, it's tied to a very particular upgrade material. It's not like you just need XP or, whatever. You just need 1 million components. You need one of a particular component. So it's almost like, what's the point of upgrading it? Because it's just locked by the story anyway. It's not something you can grind ever. So I don't quite know how I feel about that.
So there is a certain type of armor. I can't remember. I think it's called ancient armor. It's purple gear. And there's those large, like, elemental enemies that you can fight. Mm-hmm. And they drop that material, and I can make their armor. And there's that one guy, they're like a very heavily armored, like, knight-looking guys that you can fight.
The one that turns its back on you and swings its stupid sword and
like a
giant sword?
Giant sword, yeah, that guy. If you spot those guys and kill them, they drop a certain type of material that you can make like a better like purple armor for. I was able to make the purple armor for the chest piece from those materials, so I was able to do that. I don't. They do some weird stuff, I believe.
Because it kind of, I almost feel like I'm being manipulated a little bit, where they're like, "Oh, look at all these upgrade paths you could do." I'm like, well, actually, I can't. You're giving me 10 options, but I can only progress on 2 of them at my own rate. The rest of it might as well just give it to me in a cutscene, because I don't have the option to do anything else. I can't get it before then.
Exactly. I don't get it. Like, if that's the case, don't even make colored armor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or have all orange armor just be stuff that you can find, not stuff that you can, build up materials for and buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't actively dislike it. I'm just confused by it a little bit.
I'm confused by a lot of stuff in this game. Like, the upgrade paths, the abilities. Like, should I use this ability? Should I upgrade this? Or I'm going to get something better later on? I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, I've been putting all of my experience points into upgrading Atreus. I have got Atreus almost fully upgraded now.
Yeah, me too. I did because I figured my dexterity is what my dexterity is, but I get a lot of help sometimes just blasting with those arrows.
Oh, dude. And I can just constantly hit the square button now.
Yep.
And it's just like, you're constantly ticking down health because I've got his lightning arrows to like chain lightning to other guys now that are standing around them. And it's just ticking health off of them constantly. So yeah, I was happy about that.
And I like that flexibility, right? Because I think as I mentioned before, I like having that kind of off-site or off-person offense. Right, again, always reminded me back to Killzone when I could set up the turrets and then hide somewhere else, and he's kind of like my mobile turret here.
Yeah. So this is where my memory gets fuzzy. I know we have to go to Tyr's vault. I don't know why, but then something bad happens in Tyr's vault. Do you remember why we were going to Tyr's vault? I think it was just something Mimir told us we had to do.
I thought it was because Tyr's the one that held the path to Jotunheim.
It could be.
Or he had the key to Jotunheim.
Yeah, we're looking for the the key. I guess it's the key to Jotunheim. It's the you have to basically put in coordinates to the bridge, and I think it's in Tyr's vault.
Yeah.
So when we go to Tyr's vault, we run back into Modi, and Modi ambushes us and starts striking Kratos with lightning. And as he's doing that, Atreus starts getting really upset. And he begins to almost Spartan rage. But in doing so, he falls majorly ill.
Short circuits himself, basically.
Yeah. And he's pretty much unresponsive. Modi runs off again. And Kratos is now left with Atreus laying there unresponsive. So we have to rush back to the witch's hut, which is Freya's place. And we bust down her door and is like, you need to help us, please. And she's like, oh, God. All right, so here's what we need to do. I need a special ingredient to help him. And
the heart of the bridge keeper.
Yes, and you can only get this in one place. I need the heart of the bridge keeper, who watches over the bridge as souls cross over into, I guess, Valhalla? I don't know. It's the souls of the dead are crossing this bridge to oblivion, essentially. And it's located in Helheim, which is essentially, I guess, Norse mythology's hell. Yeah.
Not as much fire and brimstone as I expected.
Yeah, it's more like Dante's Inferno's hell.
Yep.
The final circle of hell is actually encased in ice. And going to Helheim means pretty much certain death unless you have something that can keep you warm for a long time.
Yeah, and also like your axe. I guess it's just a frost axe, basically, your Leviathan axe.
Yeah.
So they don't actually hurt any of those, and you need a different weapon to be able to damage any of the enemies.
Yeah. So Kratos is like, okay, I know where I can get something that will keep me protected from the frosts of Helheim. So we decide to take a boat back to our hut from the very beginning of the game. And remember last week when I posed the question, whatever happened to the Blades of Chaos? Matt had already
answered.
Matt had already done this. And when I got to this point, I texted Matt saying, "You are so coy, head." He goes back to his hut, uncovers the hidden trapdoor, and reveals the Blades of Chaos.
And now I think earlier in the game, when Kratos told Atreus to hide down there, he's like, if I remember correctly, he said something like, "Oh, I thought you told me never to go down here." And he's like, just hide. The first time Baldur came, right?
Yep, that's true.
Now, I guess now you know why he didn't want him down there.
Exactly. So the ghosts of the past, ghosts of Sparta, if you will, have shown back up. And so, Kratos wraps those chains back around his arms, and now has the Blades of Chaos, which constantly burn with the fire of Hades, I guess. I don't know. They're a fire-based weapon. And these will allow him to traverse Helheim without being frozen to death. So, and we get a good little, basically a shooting gallery of when you walk outside, there's a whole bunch of enemies saying, "Here, try out these new weapons you have."
Do definitely feel powerful, too.
Yes, those are fantastic. The sweeping animation for those, you can hit multiple enemies at a time. It's devastating. And I'm so glad they're back.
Yep, and a return welcome form for Kratos.
Yeah. So
he feels like the God of War once again.
Yep, he is the God of War again. So, our next order of business is making it to Helheim. So we have to go back to the bridge and, I guess, plug in the coordinates to Helheim.
Yep.
Travel there, and welcome to the icy freaking tundra. There's constant wind blowing. There's frozen ice and snow everywhere. And you get a pretty good visual of, like, the souls constantly walking.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You can't interact with them anyway. They're just kind of there as the background. But, just that constant flow into the realm of the dead, yeah.
Yeah. Do a few puzzles here. Not really puzzles, but like platforming puzzles and stuff like that. So one of the things that the Blades of Chaos can do is they can cut the vines that are on some of these chests that we've been seeing.
Yeah, burn those brambles.
Yep, burn the brambles. The brambles of Helheim. And so yeah, we use that to our advantage by solving puzzles and stuff like that. Eventually we make it to to where we need to be, the boss of the bridge keeper. And while I'm skipping ahead here. There's something else that needs to be said. I forgot about this. On our way to go get the Blades of Chaos, while we're riding the boat, Kratos starts seeing visions of Athena. And she's talking to him. He's basically saying, "You need to get out of my head."
Yep. You've plagued me long enough.
Yep. So, but yeah, the reason why I say that is because what happens after this boss fight, which this boss fight kind of sucked for me. I died a couple of times here.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I was going to say I thought this was the easiest boss fight.
He hit me multiple times. When he starts doing...
Are you talking about the one where he kind of teleports around?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because this is the one where he's teleporting around, and there's also the giant bird in the background.
Yeah, but the bird's just kind of like looking over you.
Yeah, because is this the first time you see it? Because there's a comment about, like, don't... They told you, they warned you not to go over the bridge.
Yeah.
And there's...
I can't remember who said it. I think Mimir said it. He said, don't never go over that bridge because you'll never come back.
Yeah, and it's that same platform that you have the boss fight on, where the other side of that is the bridge, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I basically looked in that direction and said, all right, I take your advice. I'm not going to go that way. And then 30 seconds later, I was like, nope, I changed my mind. I'll reset if I have to. I want to know what's over there.
And what's over there?
Nothing. A dead end.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't the bridge down?
Yep.
That's what I was thinking too. But yeah, this boss fight with the bridge keeper was annoying to me. When he started pounding the ground and the ice waves started hitting you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That got me a few times, and I was just like, I don't want to do this again, but I did it again anyway. But in doing so, we get his heart. Kratos, I mean, this game makes you do this almost as if Kratos didn't want to kill this guy and take his heart. But we took his heart, and as we are getting ready to leave the mouth of this bridge, we hear a voice. And as it is speaking, Kratos realizes that's Zeus. Why is Zeus here? And he mentions that that's his father, to which Mimir's like, oh, now it makes sense. Zeus is your dad? So, so Zeus is over there in Helheim, or at least the voice of Zeus is. We're not sure. But it's time to get back to Atreus and get him healed first.
Yeah, the other thing we do for the first time here with the Blades of Chaos is the other... It's hard to say it's really a puzzle in and of itself, but the other ability, right, where you can take the green flame and you can only hold it for like 10 seconds.
Yes, it's the wind.
And you can transfer it. The wind.
Yeah. The winds of something. I can't remember what it's called, though. But yeah, that's... I would call it a puzzle. Because you got to find another place to put it.
Yep. Yeah, it's the winds of hell.
Yeah. I know... I should mention that during this time we run into Brock a couple of times. He shows up in Helheim for a second there. And it's like he shows us how to use the wind of hell. But he also sees the Blades of Chaos, and he's like, whoa, that is some hardcore power you got in those weapons there. I can upgrade those for you. And, of course, Kratos is like, just keep your hands off these, all right?
Yeah.
And even Brock's like kind of mesmerized by those Blades of Chaos. He's like, there's some power coming from these things. And then, of course, it seems like Brock's kind of like, who are you exactly?
So I guess he's successfully been hiding out for quite a while.
Yeah, seems like it. The thing is I'm starting, just for the fact that both Brock and Sindri have the ability to just basically travel to wherever they want to at any given time. There's something up with those two.
Beyond their comedic brotherly banter?
Yes. I believe they could be up to something. I feel like they have ulterior motives.
Interesting.
I don't know what. Maybe that's Loki. Maybe they're pretending to be Maybe is that where
both
Loki?
Loki.
They're both Loki. Yeah, like he changes the way he looks. He can teleport wherever he wants. He's a trickster. He's the trickster. Gabriel. Maybe you didn't make it that far. So don't worry about that. That's another thing. So we've done Norse mythology. We've done Greek mythology. When's Kratos going to take on? When's he going to take on Jesus? Jehovah. I want to see that fight, right?
God of War 14.
God of War 14. Yep. Crucifixion. But I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I don't want to offend anyone. Just a little joke. But yeah, he shows up in hell just for a split second. So he peeks around a tree and it's just like, "Hey, use this wind," and then it goes away. I'm like, I don't like how these guys can just go wherever they want to whenever they want to. It seems like they could easily use that power for something else. And I feel like they may be up to something. Maybe it's a little twist at the end there. Oh, it was them all along. They're the bad guys. You never know.
That would be a twist.
That would be a twist. At the end of this, at the end of Helheim, we do get a material to upgrade the Blades of Chaos once, right? I believe we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So now we have a whole new weapon to upgrade and a whole new skill tree to put points into that I just like, more of this. I'm just like, oh boy, okay. So now I don't know what I want to upgrade because I've already upgraded the Leviathan axe a lot, but I'm like, the Blades of Chaos are really good though because they do a sweeping action so I can hit multiple guys at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, they are good for crowd control.
Very much so.
Except it feels harder in this game to actually get off like the final part of a 3 or 4 part combo.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting like surrounded more and people get jabs that disrupt me more.
It's true. It's very true.
Though I guess the flip side of that is it feels a lot better when it lands and you knock them up into the air.
Mm-hmm. We'll see though. But after traveling back from Helheim, we now have we can use one of Brock's old teleports to go real close to where we need to be, because Brock has now upgraded the teleport portals, I guess, to where you can use them to travel between each other and not just to Brock's little shop. So now we can just straight travel to wherever we want to go. So I instantly traveled back to the witch's hut, Freya. We gave her the heart.
Deliver that heart.
Yep. Delivered the heart to her. And she, I guess, kind of cures Atreus. To which, she's then warning Kratos, hey, you really need to freaking tell him. This whole sickness is because he's a god and he doesn't know it. And he's basically denying his godhood. And because of that, it's making him sick. And not much is really said. Kratos is like, thank you for your help, but we're going to go now. Yeah.
Which concludes one of the most obvious detours in a game. Right? Like, I feel like a lot of games will do kind of your nested fetch quest where you have to do, A to do B, and then B to do C, and then C to do D. This is just like, we're going somewhere. Well, now we're going to do a detour. We've got a side mission. All right, now we're still going to the same place we were originally going. I guess purely to move Atreus' understanding and to force his hand at telling Atreus what he is. If that's the only real reason for this whole detour we just did into Helheim.
Yeah. So that's our next objective is to go back to Tyr's vault. to finish what we started.
Yeah, exactly where we were. Yeah, just carry on. Pick up from exactly where we were when we got ambushed.
Yeah. But now we got the Blades of Chaos.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. I know we just spent 30 minutes talking about this, but this is where I stopped. I mean, that was the whole deal was, we start from the magic chisel. When we get it, we then stop after we come back from Helheim. That was the whole point. Let me look at the emails here because I know we got a couple of them. Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and get into the emails here. The first one coming in from Chad says, God of War Part 3. Howdy, guys. I'm assuming you have reached the point where you now return from Helheim and go back to Freya. No new questions this week, but let's recap what we know and don't know. Here's what we have so far. This game is a legit sequel within the God of War series. The Blades of Chaos exist. We've seen cameos from both Athena and Zeus, and there will be more connections revealed later. Atreus is Kratos' biological son.
And I do appreciate that this is so tied into the other games. I think that gives it such a good sense of place and context.
Absolutely. Like when I got the Blades of Chaos, I was like, okay, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So this is, which I kind of figured this was a direct sequel because they alluded to him being the God of War. Like, oh, I know where you're a long way from home, and but you're a god, all right, kind of thing. So I was just like, yeah, they've alluded to it, but now it's basically confirmation. He's got the Blades of Chaos. That's from the very first game. So yeah, this is definitely a sequel. Atreus is Kratos' biological son. His sickness is essentially due to him being a god and not knowing it, although not fully explained how having power without awareness manifests a physical condition. The individual's lack of awareness is like a fish living out of water. Number 3, the witch is actually the Norse goddess Freya. A lot of the additional context is explained in found lore through side conversations and Mimir's ramblings. As you previously mentioned, there was a war between two sets of Norse gods, the Vanir and the Aesir. Freya was basically the leader of the Vanir, and Odin is the leader of the Aesir. Freya married Odin, to which formed a truce and ended the war. However, Odin later divorced her, I guess, and one of the conditions of the separation was that she was confined to Midgard for eternity. Freya was viewed as a traitor to the Vanir because of her marriage to Odin. Mimir is also from the Vanir gods and sort of sees her as a traitor, although maybe not as severe as the other Vanir. I'm not sure, but I think there is some more context as to why Freya actually hates Mimir, but I don't think that is revealed until later. Number 4. Mimir mentions at one point during side conversations that Odin imprisoned him in the tree because he was accused of giving the giants secrets from the gods. Odin viewed this as treason against the gods and thought Mimir may have been trying to lead a revolt. Mimir tells Kratos that these were baseless accusations made by Odin, but he can't deny that someone wasn't doing this, just not him. Mimir is also the reason why Odin only has one eye. In lore, Mimir is the Norse god of wisdom and required a sacrifice from Odin before he would let him drink from his well of wisdom. Odin gouged out one of his eyes for this purpose. In the game, Mimir jokingly states he drugged the well of wisdom and Odin gouged out his own eye in a psychedelic rage. Here are some questions that remain unanswered. Number 1. We still don't know how Kratos went from Greece to the Nordic lands or exactly why.
Yep.
Number 2. We don't really know how he survived the fight with Zeus at the end of God of War 3. Number 3. We still don't really know who Faye was, how Kratos met her, or how she died. Number 4. We still don't know exactly why the Norse gods are seeking out Kratos. Number 5, it is still not clear whether the main objective of the game is to reach the highest mountain and spread Faye's ashes. Till next time, Chad. Those are very good questions that we do not have the answers to.
Yep. Hopefully we will get them soon.
I hope so too. So our next email comes in from Dustin. It is titled Fragmented. All right, it says, that's what this email is going to be since I'm working. I have a couple of things to say. First, try to refrain from looking up Norwegian mythology until after you beat the game, just in case you might spoil a few things unintentionally.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have actually tried to avoid that because there are, other than happening to have seen the Aesir and the Vanir on a God of War related article, I specifically didn't want to go into anything else. For example, like Freya. I feel like reading about her may spoil some things. So I was I thought about looking some things up to see if I could infer what happens in the game, but then decided it wasn't worth the spoilage.
Let's see here. Second, what difficulty are you playing on? If you're on normal or easy, of course, colored equipment doesn't matter. You don't have to strategize any combat when you can just button mash. It's like complaining there's magic and oil for your sword in The Witcher you never use since hacking at enemies on normal is so simple.
Who would do that, though?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I am playing on normal.
Yeah, me too.
Also, the Valkyries are in-game material and will wreck you even on lower difficulties, so don't push yourself too early, Matt. Well, let me tell you. I'm playing on normal, and I beat one of the Valkyries with low-level armor.
I feel like I want my badge now.
I don't have any witty questions. That's Chad's territory. But I will say me and him are looking forward to co-oping Dead Space 3 if that's still our October games, since it looks like God of War will lead us into that month. I thought maybe we could squeeze in a short game like Finding Paradise, the sequel to the Moon.
Yes.
Maybe do Cameo or Majin or Enslaved for November so we can still hit game 100 in December before the Year of Yakuza. I think my top 5 recommendations for game 100 would be Final Fantasy VI, Planescape Torment, Vampire the Masquerade, Chrono Trigger, StarCraft, or Breath of the Wild.
Oh, these are some class games.
These are
heavy. I would love to play every one of them.
Heavy games. Anyway, I've been really enjoying listening to God of War and all your crazy theories. It's been really fun. Dustin. So we have kind of discussed what we want to do for game 100. I don't know if I'm ready to reveal it just yet. We want to do like a well-renowned game, I feel. A game that everybody pretty much unanimously likes. Or, one of those that's like, you have to play this game. Like one of the top 10 games to play before you die kind of thing.
Yep. Not getting any younger.
That's true. And I don't mind if it's a game I've never played before. I kind of want to do one you've never played before, Matt. That's up to you, though. That's up to you. Because to be honest with you, me and you both have already done our favorite game of all time, which is Metal Gear Solid. So,
yep.
So we can't really do that. We're still thinking on it. Matt and I have discussed it some, and we've came up with some pretty good ones. But we'll definitely let you guys know when it comes closer to it. Now, to mention, yes,
and maybe the runners up as well.
Yeah, definitely. But to mention, yes, we have pretty much solidified our next game will be Dead Space 3 co-op. Matt and I are going to be playing together. We're just going to have to hash out some times to actually sit down and play it together. But that will be our October game. We've done Dead Space 2, so let's do Dead Space 3. In fact,
Dead Space 2 is a big one.
Yeah.
Having been stuck in that game for so long.
Holy crap.
This is all fresh new territory and, well-timed for October.
Absolutely. In fact, I had to go and get a year subscription to PlayStation Plus because I let it run out. Because, well, we're playing on PS3 together, so yeah, we're going to be.
It's
doing
aging,
that.
but it's still mildly relevant in 2020.
Well, I mean, I own it on PlayStation Plus, and you do too. So,
yeah,
that's the best way to do it. But yeah, we are definitely going to be doing that. As far as November goes, I know Matt is doing NaNoWriMo, so I don't know what we're going to do for November. We'll see what happens. We haven't really thought that deep into it. I'm hoping we've got another week left in the month. I'm hoping I can finish God of War this week. Are you going to do that, Matt?
I'm super close to the end.
Okay.
I probably only have an hour left.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, so it's especially interesting to hear those unanswered questions because I feel like they're all still unanswered, and I've only got 2 chapters left.
Nice. So, where you are in the game, how far am I from where you are in the game?
4 or 5 hours.
Okay. All right. I need to get.
So it would be a chunky week. To try and finish it, I think.
I'm gonna attempt to. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna attempt to. If I can get an hour in a day, I should be kind of golden.
Yeah,
I would assume. So
I want to see if I can find and rewatch the Dead Space animated movies. Get back in the mood after God of War.
I'm sure you can probably find them somewhere. One of them was on Netflix for a while there.
Yeah, I'm sure I watched one of them on Netflix, but it's been ages since I've seen them.
I haven't seen any of them. But, yeah. That's going to be it for... I do appreciate everybody sending in those emails, and keep them coming, because more than likely our next episode will be finishing God of War, so we definitely need some wrap-up emails for us. Trying to think. So we're on 96. If we do Dead Space, would be 97. We could do the November game, 98.
And then a quickie.
Maybe a quickie, yeah.
Finding Paradise, maybe.
Yeah, Finding Paradise or something like that. And then episode 100 or game 100. We'll see what happens.
Definitely not the intermediate, A Bird Story, because I started that the other day. That's not much of a game. Pretty lightweight.
Intermediate? What do you mean?
I think it kind of comes in between
To the Moon
and Finding Paradise.
I gotcha.
It's only like an hour, so it's not really even a game. It's just kind of an interlude, if you will.
Right.
I believe.
Okay. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that and try and work it out. But yeah, I'm excited to finish God of War finally. And
yeah, me too. I've been slow playing it for the last week or so to not finish it too early, but I'm ready to see how it ends, answer some of these questions, and go out strong.
Absolutely. But that's going to be it for us. If you would like to send us an email, it's drew@ztgd.com. You can also tweet to us. I am at Drew Leachman. Matt is at REMGS, and the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. But yeah, that's going to be it for us. We're going to get out of here. I'm excited to see where it goes. I've enjoyed my time with this game, and hey, how relevant. We got an announcement for the next God of War game coming out in 2021 this past week.
Sure did.
Yeah, the God of War Ragnarok. So maybe we do cause Ragnarok. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes it more or less likely that it's going to show up in this game.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yes. I imagine it's less likely because now they've told me it's not happening until the next game.
Well, my thing, what if the ending is a cliffhanger of we just started Ragnarok, and
set it off,
and then Kratos turns and goes, boy, and that's it. That's the end. It cuts the credits, and I'm like, oh no.
See you in 2021.
See you in 2021. That could be it. I don't know. But we'll find out, I guess. Until next time, though, I am Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we're out of here. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back with the continuation and possible conclusion. It will be conclusion of God of War.
It's firm.